Welcome back to Case Closed Anime Review, episode number 80. Yep, my third anime review series to hit episode 80, and it did it before Black Clover. Yep, this I'm reviewing the most recent film released for the series, the one released just last year on April 13th, 2019, the 23rd Case Closed film, Fist of the Blue Sapphire. Yeah. Awesome movie. And it's also, believe it or not, the most recent anime appearance of the Kaito Kid. Yeah, it's the most recent one. Now, here's the thing. There is still one more coming. Yes, one more anime case coming with him. And it's actually the very next arc that's going to be adapted. That's going to be adapted next to the end whenever they get a chance to do it. This movie is the first movie to be set out technically. Yeah, this is the first one to be set outside of Japan. And generally put, they usually are in Japan, mostly in Tokyo, a lot of the time. And this is the first time they've actually done it. Now, it's not the first time they've actually had the characters travel outside of Japan. This is technically the third time this has happened in the whole entire franchise. Because the first time was a flashback, where they went to, where you have Sichi and Ren in a flashback, along with McGuire. They fly to New York City for a two-parter. It's a fantastic episode. It's called The Golden Apple. It's a really damn good story. I highly recommend watching when you get a chance to watch it. There's also the London Adventure, which I know this one did get criticized for one small thing, which actually, there's a small reference to that, and of course what happened with the Crimson School trip when she decided to confess his feelings for Ran in London in front of Big Ben. It's not exactly a reference here, but it is referenced in the last film. This film does reference the Crimson School trip. Which, oh yeah, and they confirm in this movie that definitely that Ren and Sichi are officially a couple. Yep, they are indeed a couple. They'll be dating, but they've not started officially on an official date yet as boyfriend-girlfriend. Yep. And the movie starts out quite interestingly with one of the villains in the movie. Well, yeah, his name is Renzo. I think his name is. He talks to a beautiful woman about a proposition. She says no to it, walks away, and then next time we see her, she's stumbling about, and she's revealed to have a stab wound in her chest, and then not long after she apparently is found dead, her car blows up. Now, I should point out though, this particular thing, the whole car blowing up thing, that is completely unrelated to the main story, and that's a plot point that's completely forgotten about. Yeah, it's mentioned, but actually who was responsible for the car bombing, that actually was never revealed. It's implied it could have been the guy who was the actual main villain in the movie, well, one of the villains, but they never confirmed who was behind the car bombing. That's the only thing they completely forgot about. Yeah, they reveal who killed the smoking hot lawyer, but blew up her car? They completely forgot about that. So, basically the guy's, apparently his former student, what he taught apparently was criminal psychology. So he's a reserve officer. He must be a reserve police officer. Now, I've never heard of this term. Now, I've heard of this term technically for police officer, a reserve officer. That's interesting. It sounds like a military, but nope. It is something for police. And not long after discovering the crime scene, apparently we see a car from the Kaito Kid. Despite the fact Kaito Kid is nowhere in Singapore. He somehow sent advance notice that he possibly was going to steal the Sapphire, and there's blood in the thing, which I'm like, that's weird. Yeah, that plot point is followed up with who actually put that there. It wasn't the Kaito Kid. It was actually one of the other characters in the movie. At least that plot point is followed up with. Yeah, as for the reasoning why the Kaito Kid was framed, well, they don't fully explain it. It's, from what I can tell, that particular thing about framing the Kaito Kid for, like, the murders, okay, pinning on him wasn't exactly fully revealed. It's like they kind of forgot that little plot point. And at the same time, we actually have, and we cut to, right after this, we cut to Agasa's house, where Conan wants one of the pills to get so with Sichi to go to Singapore. She says no because what happened in Kyoto. Yeah, they reference that, which I think this came out, from what I look at, I think it was just after that particular school trip. Yep. And she says no, and he walks off, and then we see Rand, like, what the heck is she doing in her school uniform? And she smiles, and then he's knocked out, and then Conan wakes up in Singapore in a suitcase. Oh yes, and that Rand was not really her. It was the Kaido kid disguised as her. And that is technically the second time he disguised himself as her in the whole entire series. And what does he do? Disguise himself as Sichi. Of course he does. It seems as though almost every time he shows up in the movies, he always disguises himself as Sichi. He's done this several times. The reasoning for this? Because, well, the other reason why he's able to go with this disguise, because it's mentioned in his previous appearance, is because they got the same face. Well, like I said before, there's a reason for that. Same person created both these two guys. Yeah, same person. Yeah, though that's from my perspective anyways. So, apparently, Conan doesn't have his glasses on. He apparently has some equipment, though the Kaido Kid has him. Apparently his skin's been tanned. Yeah, that part was never explained. Why the heck is his skin tanned? Oh yeah, and he has new alias. Wait, he's in here. He's known as Arthur Hittery. Now he does explain later. Arthur comes from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Hittery comes from basically who the name Egawa comes from. Basically, it's his real name. So basically, yeah, connects back to Sherlock Holmes. Obviously, interesting name. And Rand does point out, though, that, hey, he looks like Conan. And he doesn't usually dress or normally kicks her to miss because, oh, he just looks differently because his skin's different color, he doesn't wear glasses. Okay, yeah, this is never really explained. Yeah, this is kind of something I should point out, though, in case you're wondering, is this really not fully explained why she doesn't recognize him? Well, this is actually something from the actual canon himself. This is like how smart Rand is. She doesn't know the obvious thing of that Conan is Sichi. There's been hints of that the whole series, but she's tried to basically delve into it, but yeah, the only reason why he doesn't tell her because it was a Gasa's idea. They mentioned this back in episode 2 of the series, that the reason why he doesn't tell her is because he doesn't want to get her involved with the Black Organization, which, by the way, they're nowhere in this movie. Nope, nowhere in this movie. And The Darkest Nightmare, which was the 20th film of the series, that was their last appearance to date in the movies. And one of their last appearances to date. So, we just have them basically chilling, and of course they're here. Now, why did they go to Singapore? Because Soneko's boyfriend is participating in the tournament. He was going to withdraw, but because he had no sponsor, because the lawyer was actually going to be a sponsor. And then Soneko's like, nah. So he contacts her uncle, technically her father's cousin, asks, like, can we sponsor him? He's like, sure. Yeah, that's the only mention you get of him. Yeah, it's actually the first time I could think of where her, Janichi, I think his name is, he's basically her uncle. First time she's actually mentioned him in movies, and you have the Kaido Kid show up, and he's nowhere to be seen. The inspector shows up. I do mention that. He's going to show up in the movie, but he's not going to show up until like the very end of the movie. I'll get to more on that later. So they chill, they relax. There's some stuff basically kind of hinted at. Yeah, they slowly reveal stuff while Rand spends time with Sichi. It's actually the Kaido Kid. And they basically chill in the pool. Of course, that's when they mention that they're dating. And he's like, what? They're dating? And here's the thing. He never talks to Conan about this the whole movie. Yeah, he never brings it up to them at all. Oh, yeah, and the guy who they think is responsible for this, he kind of manipulates Mystico to kind of withdraw from the tournament. Basically, his bodyguard is actually upset about that because he joined the tournament so he could fight him. He does fight him during the climax. I'll get to that. It's an awesome climax. Probably by far, of all the films so far, the best climax to date of all the movies. Yep. So they have basically in a tournament. They watch the tournament. It goes pretty well. Okay. Oh yeah. In case you're wondering about his Band-Aid, yeah, that is actually something that has been a recurring problem in the series. Like, it's never been explicitly revealed what's on the Band-Aid. In this movie, they reveal what's under the Band-Aid. I'll get to that later. So he does well, and then we get to like toward the end of the round. Basically, this is after Sonic gets hurt. He basically talks, and he basically puts on like a good. Yeah, she gets hurt while he's basically protecting her from a bunch of bunch of like drunk people who are drunk, and he basically chases after her. She gets run over. Though she doesn't get injured per se, and as basically someone who is her boyfriend, he does stay by her side the whole time, despite the fact he's keeping secrets from her. He does stay by her side. He does still love her because he won't reveal what's behind the good luck charm and what's behind the Band-Aid. Yeah. Now, the good luck charm, basically, he hasn't revealed that, but the Band-Aid, he's actually embarrassed about that, because it's actually his good luck charm. Yeah. Oh, what is on the Band-Aid? A picture of him and Sonic. Yeah, that is what's under the Band-Aid. Yeah. They reveal this after the climax is over. Yeah, and they say in this hotel that it's basically a three tower hotel with a ship on top. Yeah, and they show in the ending credits, this is a real hotel. Yeah, all the places they show this movie, it's all real. None of it is made up, which I'm like, that's pretty smart to do. Yeah, that's one thing interesting to know about these movies, is that a lot of the time when they show like stuff in the show itself, like stuff in Tokyo or wherever place they go, they actually show in live action what these places actually look like. And yeah, the whole Singapore city itself, what they show in the movie, that's the exact how Singapore looks like in real life. Kudos for the animation team for doing that. And since this is the most, now I've noticed this for the last couple movies I've watched, where it's used the current animation style they currently use in the series. One thing I have noticed with this movie, it kind of used a similar style that I've seen in the most recent episodes of the series. Yep. And slowly but surely figure out exactly, you have the Kaido Kid as Sichi, and Conan all investigating, and of course, the Kaido Kid doesn't like playing detective very much, though at times he has no choice in the matter. So they investigate about like oil tanker. Anita's in the movie, pretty much there to analyze stuff. And what about Genta, Mitch, and Amy? And Ami? Well, they do nothing. They show up for one scene, and they're never seen again. Yep. Oh yeah, and by the way, Conan never tells Hybera of how the heck he got to frickin' Singapore. Yeah, never mentioned. Well, he probably mentions her later, but not in this phone conversation. So yeah, I'll leave that to the side. So they slowly figure out that, and of course, it's figured out that, well, Rendo is actually in league with a bunch of pirates. Modern day pirates. And they've been thinking pirates mean people who dress up like they're from the 17th century, carrying swords. No, these are modern day pirates who carry frickin' machine guns. Yes, these people are in fact real. Yep, and what do these guys do? Hijack an oil tanker. Purpose? To crash into Marina Bay. That's the city in Singapore they're actually at. And, oh yeah, it's revealed his whole motive basically for causing all this nonsense to get the star. He wants to remake the city, and the city council actually turns him down because they think it's not good, and yeah, they're basically laughing at him for this. So he gets so basically the whole thing is basically for the city. The only reason why he's doing all this nonsense so he can reborn the city in his own image. They do show exactly what he wants to do for the city, and it looks like a futuristic city. And apparently people are against it for some reason. I have no idea why. I'll let that slide. Yep, and they actually talked to Rinzen about this, the reserve officer. Conan actually goes briefly to his house, or revealed is actually 5 years prior to the story. His father died in an accident. They actually revealed that it was actually Reno was killed his father via running him over his freaking boat when he ran in the water. The reason for this? Yeah, there was no... Well, the motive is that he really wanted this jewel for some reason. Because he wanted all the power. By the way, they betted this jewel in a freaking championship belt of all things. His chief of security actually won the tournament. Of course, he had to basically lose to the guy Mexico via forfeit. He actually hated that. He actually joined him so he could fight him. And, well, he won the tournament. And they got the jewel. He doesn't freaking care. And he later basically kind of turns against him because I only joined you so I could fight Mystico, but since I was taken away, I have no reason to work with you. He does get his fight later on. And then once the Otinger crashes, well, eventually it stops after it crashes into a reservoir. That's when the pirates are opening fire on police officers. Yes, a good about 30 of them with not only machine guns but freaking bazookas. Yes, bazookas. Yeah, and they actually redirect these things also to damage the freaking hotel itself. And what is Benjamin doing? Well, he's basically getting drunk. He briefly wanted to meet with the guy's secretary, but she got killed by him anyways and framed the kind of kid for it. Yep. Yeah. Let's see, what else? Yeah, that's a minor plot point. And what was she going to say to him? Well, it's revealed later that she wanted to tell him about Randall dirty deeds. That's what's implied she was going to tell her. But that could be a possibility because she gets killed somehow off screen because they don't show her death at all, who actually killed her. That's kind of the strange thing about it. They don't show her death. They do show the beautiful lawyer's death, where she got killed. She got dragged off to a different hotel room. It was not her own hotel room. She gets stabbed by Renzo, and then her secretary posed as her to fool everybody that she was the beautiful lawyer. Collapses, then she swaps bodies, and apparently he brought the body down via suitcase. What is up, people? Stuff people's suitcases moving? I have no idea. It's particularly very strange. Why a suitcase? Because she's slim, she can probably fit in that suitcase, no problem. Yeah. And the only reason why I killed her was because she agreed to sponsor Mystico. That's the only reason why. That, and of course, she turned down his proposition. Not for marriage. No, that wasn't that. It was a business proposition she turned down for. Yep, so... Yeah, and then, of course, they take the hotel, and, of course, they kind of briefly turn against the reserve officer, which apparently at some point he got in contact with the pirates. I'm like, when the heck did that happen? Because it shows that Renzo, he basically contacted the pirates, but as for him, it's never revealed exactly when he did this. So, yeah. Of course, Rand does fire her father later. And then they confront the pirates, and thanks to a bunch of steam caused by the Kaido Kid, who's with Conan, they proceed to beat the living crap out of people, her using her karate, him using his frickin' judo. Yep, he's actually able to hold him really well. Mystico, of course, basically senses their danger, so he goes pick up his beautiful girlfriend, and of course, chase him around, and then eventually his good luck charm is actually broken by the Kaido Kid, so it's like, okay, he's basically become a character from Street Fighter, and he proceeds to take out 4 guys at once. Like as soon as he's like, bam, 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 like 4 guys thrown on the wall. Like, what the heck? What the heck did they do? Like, apparently it's something like God of Fighting. Yep. And then in order to protect her, it's like, okay, take off her belt. Of course, she can't move very well. And of course, tie her to him. And looks like a bondage style. What? Just sort of like a black hand knot, okay. And then, of course, he gets his hands free. He proceeds to beat up everybody. And before he gets a chance to be going further, that's when the bodyguard shows up and says, no, wait, he's mine. And they proceed to have their fight, and he wins. Despite the fact that we also have a bazooka fired at this ship and knocking the top thing off. And though everybody's perfectly fine. And, of course, Sonico finally figures out about what's under the Band-Aid, the picture. And you're like, oh, treasure this. No, that's my good luck charm. It's so funny. Yep. And they show news later that both Renzo and his former student are actually arrested, pretty much all the pirates. Yep. And they proceed to fly home. He goes back to the United States. Apparently, he doesn't have a car. I'm like, dude, you're a martial arts champ. I'm sure you probably got a lot of money for all the sponsorships you got. You could at least afford to get yourself a freaking car. Also, where the heck? Apparently, when he first showed up in the series, when he and Sonic first met, he was working at a hotel part time in the summertime, and apparently he did a lot of the martial arts. Basically, was on the road. Yeah, they basically did this in his debut appearance. And in case you're wondering about his appearance, it hasn't really changed very much. He occasionally goes wearing glasses when he actually is not fighting. Mostly put, he's pretty consistent in all of his appearances. They don't really change his hair all very much. I mean, he's got the same skin color. Yeah. Also, I should point out though, a lot of the characters in this movie speak English. Not like one or two. Like I got about 20, 30 characters. You hear them a lot speaking English, which that's a first for this series. Yeah, where about half the cast speaks English in a Japanese sub. Yeah. Yep. And after everybody's pretty much defeated, and then they actually fly home. They actually show the fly home, and that's when the inspector shows up. Like, what? And of course, Senshi mentioned that. Oh yeah, he referred to Kuro as old man. But here's the thing: Conan reveals he never called Kuro old man in front of Ran. He never did, at all. And apparently that gave him away. That proceed to the inspector show up, act like a complete buffoon, chase after him. Of course, he gets away. Conan sneaks out the suitcase like a Magasa and Nita are there. And of course, Nita kind of peeks at him when he's changing into his clothes. And she's like, And of course, she just flakes her hair back. He's like, I'm going to piece this later. Yeah, it's been hinted that she has feelings for him. Yeah, she's one of like two characters who's been hinted at feelings for him about the series. I mean, Rand, it's confirmed. And it's been hinted that Masami Sarah's got feelings for him. Even Hai Habara. Yeah. And of course, Shane's back to his traditional blue coat, red tie, white shirt, khaki shorts, and of course, red and white sneakers. Yeah, this is his traditional appearance that he's not wearing, and it's the appearance he wears a lot of the time. But here's kind of the strange thing about this look, about Conan. After the first 5 years of the show, he never really wore this look very much. So usually wore like t-shirts, whatever. But as for this look, even when he went to school, he never wore this outfit much at all. Yep. And like it was like welcome home, and of course, well, that's it for the movie. Yeah, but it's nice to see for this particular film, for the 23rd film, him wearing the classic attire, which is the first time in quite a while in the series he actually wears it. He occasionally, a lot of time wears these in canon episodes. He wears it a lot in canon episodes, but occasionally wears this in filler. But this is probably the first time in quite a while he's wearing it in action movies himself. Sometimes, like one time he wore a freaking turtleneck to a crime scene. Yeah, he wore a freaking turtleneck. It was the second time he met the maid from a previous case, who apparently is an old friend of Keba. Yeah. But otherwise, though, that's pretty much it for this movie. It's a fantastic movie. But as for stuff that's not really explained, like, okay, when did the reserve officer actually contact the pirates? Yeah, that was never explained. Also, the whole that's one minor plot point that's minor irritation, but it wasn't like a big obvious one. I would say the only really obvious plot point that was quickly dropped, they never revealed exactly why, was the car bombing of the attorney's car. Yeah, the reasoning for it, never explained. Nope, it just random. And they never revealed exactly who was behind all that. Yeah, that's the only thing about this movie they never properly explained. Well, one of there are two things. The other, of course, was why frame the Kato Kid for all this? To get attention? Honestly, that part of the movie, it's like, okay, frame the Kato Kid for all these murders, and then once he's cleared, and they never explicitly reveal exactly why he was framed for these murders. Yeah, never reveal exactly what was the reasoning for it, but that's basically what it is. Yeah, and so that's it for all the movies as of right now until the next movie comes out in a little over 2 weeks from now. Yep. Now, what is actually left for the series? Aside from waiting for a new chapter in the manga, which is supposed to come out Friday, as far as I know, and a new episode of the anime, which comes out not this week and not next week, but from what I can tell, I think it comes out April 18th, which is basically going to be like a day after the next one comes out. That's when the next episode comes out for the series. But what else besides that? Well, and of course, next film. Well, all it's up is the TV specials, the Magic Files, which I still cannot find English sub for that, and the shorts. That's pretty much it. Just those three things left to review. Yeah, like I said, Magic Files, still very difficult to find these things, and no idea to find English stuff for them. TV specials, I can get pretty much all of them done, not much problem at all. Short stories, they might be a little difficult to find, but I think I might be able to find them, not much of a problem. But Magic Files, they are super hard to find. Unless somehow someone can find an English sub of the Magic Files for Case Closed, there is a total number of, well, there's basically 6 overall, but the first one is just basically a clip show. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about this. It's super really good overall. So yeah, so that'll be it for this particular review. My next review will be a review of the newest episode of Black Clover, along with, well, New to the manga, and after that, it will just be a review for My Body is My Mind. Yeah, I'm finally gonna start that now, okay? See you next video. Bye.